Hotel History is created for adult audiences. Content may not be suitable for all listeners. Discretion is advised. You're listening to Hotel History. We take you with us through the sordid history and scandals of some of the world's most famous and infamous hotels. I'm Dieta.
And I'm Yael. Let's get started.
Today we are going to talk about some very strange and surprising hotels that we have found through the beauty of the internets.
And we'd like to thank a specific website where we found these strange hotels called messynessychic.com. I found this website, I want to say, I don't know why this year sticks out to me, in 2013. I found it a while ago, and I always was checking in on it, whatever, and then recently, I showed you the website, but they have a lot of interesting stuff, and it's based in Paris, I believe.
I'm obsessed with this website ever since you sent it to me. I love it. If you like traveling and oddities, then you're going to find something on here.
Yeah, they have, I think they're still pretty active, right? Like
they have a newsletter that you can sign up for, and I think it comes out at least once a week.
Yeah, it's their newsletter, or in the newsletter is 13 things I found on the internet.
Yeah.
13, like, random number. And I don't know where they find it. I'm like, how did you keep up with so many weird things you found on the internet for the past 10 years?
Well, that's the internet.
Yeah.
You can trust the internet to have just a never-ending supply of weird things.
It's I think they're exposed to more European things because they're based in Paris. So to me, it's like, oh, that's interesting. And maybe someone in Europe is like, we know about this already.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
But there's always something on there that I end up clicking on that I'm like, yeah, I gotta know what that is.
Yeah. I feel like there's a place on the internet for websites like this, and I don't know what the right word is or name. It's like where esoteric things go.
Yeah.
I don't want to say go to die, but like it's like
it's like a library of
it's a
esoteric
library.
things.
Yeah. It's not for everyone. If I showed this to some people, they'd be like, I don't get it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Why is this interesting?
It's the type of library that I would want to be a physical location that I could just go live in, but it has to be on the internet.
Yeah, I want to see what their office is like. So we found these very strange and surprising hotels on this website, and we obviously had to cover them.
Yes, and hopefully there will be more episodes like this because there's a ton. But here's 5 that we decided to start with because they were really cool. So first up is a hotel called the Belvedere du Rayon Vert. I'm not even going to try to do that in a French accent.
We'll call it the Belvedere.
Yeah, it's the Belvedere. But it is in the south of France, in a town called Cerbère. It looks like Care Bear, but it's Cerbère. Yeah, Cerbère.
You can do the French accent.
It's way too over the top. Like I
but
can't
that's how
rein
they
it back in. So this is right on the border with Spain, and the Belvedere basically looks like a ship that's on a harbor, like just heading off into the sea. It's such a unique design, and it's actually built over the railway tracks there. It's kind of meant as a place to stay when you were using the railway back in the day. Like you would stop here in this town, and it was right by the railway, so a perfect place to stay. But they decided to go with this ship design that towers over everything.
It's kind of a little scary.
Yeah.
You look it up. We definitely need to put links and pictures. We're gonna do that. But there is this I don't know why I'm scared of it.
It's
is that
imposing.
A weird, like, it's cool. It's really cool. You know what vibe it has? what's that? What's it? Steampunk. It has a steampunk
Yeah.
vibe. Yeah. It's
Mm-hmm.
also, it is on the side of a road right now. I mean, it was there before, but like it's different when you look at it with modern eyes. Um, and it's still there, but it's not a hotel anymore, is it?
It is.
It's still a hotel?
It's still operating, yeah. So it was built between 1928 and 1932 by architect Leon Bailey? Question mark.
As everyone knows, we can't pronounce shit on the show.
This is an ongoing
We're so American.
gag, so
we also
just
don't know any other language.
bear with us. Okay, so yes, it is still a hotel. It officially closed in 1983 and stopped functioning for a while, and it was named a historic monument in 87. But now they do rent out 10 of the rooms, but you have to stay for a minimum of a week. So it's like a little bit more short term.
So what are they doing with the rest of the rooms?
They're probably not fit to be used. I don't know. But they have a website now, and it looks beautiful. Like it looks like they've been redoing
I saw that,
it.
yeah.
So I'm wondering now if maybe they do have everything back up where they have more. At the time that Messy Nessie wrote their article, they were only renting out 10 rooms, but by now it might be more, because I think she did that a couple years before the pandemic.
Oh. I mean, I'm glad it's still open after the pandemic.
Me too. Yeah.
That would be a cool place. You know what? Oh, it reminds me of the Queen Mary a little.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not really, because, like, it's much nicer on the inside, but a big ship as a hotel.
Yeah.
Scary looking. I bet you they have ghosts.
Oh, yeah. You know they do. Yeah.
Someone died in there for sure.
So travelers would stay here as they took the train from Northern Europe to Spain. And a little bit of interesting history for this area. In 1864, Spain and France agreed to connect their railways through the mountain pass that connects Cerber with the Spanish town of Portbou. And in 1939, as you know, the Spanish Civil War was raging. World War II was cooking up. And 500,000 people actually fled Spain for this area once the Republican Army was defeated by the fascist army in Spain. So lots of people lived in internment camps that were set up by the French authorities. Some ended up having to go back to Spain because the conditions were just abominable, and a lot of people died. And then some went to the U.S., and the ones who stayed in Europe, unfortunately, got to continue their fight with fascism because then World War II started.
I watched a show recently about World War II. I forgot what it's called. It's on Netflix, and they had to get people, or they were trying to help people escape, I believe from Spain to France, and they had to climb like these mountains or whatever. And I wonder if this had anything to. This sounds really familiar.
Yeah, that might have been
Yeah.
based on this. It's totally possible. Yeah, so if you go there, there is a historical marker at the railway station in Cerber, and then there's also 2 markers at the border of the mountain pass where people were coming through.
I think this had to be.
Yeah,
what it's based. It sounds really familiar. Yeah.
So a fun thing that they had was a tennis court on the roof, which the way that we play tennis, we would have immediately lost all of our balls down onto the railway tracks.
If you have a tennis court on the roof, it's going to be really hard to get your balls back.
That's for people who actually knew how to play tennis.
Even if you know. I mean, I'm assuming there's no gate because no one cared about safety back in the day. And you're on the train, and you're like, why all these tennis balls are outside? It's kind of weird.
So that was fun. They also had a cinema inside the hotel, which they still have, and it actually is used every single year. In October, a local film festival holds like a 3-day-long festival there where they show all of these different films and give out prizes.
That sounds really fun. But it's only French film, probably.
No, it's actually global submissions.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. We should go.
I'm totally down.
Yeah. I don't know when. Well, October.
You should submit your short film.
They would not like it. It is the most American short film. If anyone's listening, I do have a short film. It was just for fun. It's not good. Well, I think it was. I like it because it I find my jokes funny, but I know a lot of people don't like it.
Which is fine because art for art's sake. I'm not trying to
Sure,
impress anybody.
yeah. Every artist is like, for art's sake.
Messy Nessie calls it a time capsule railway hotel. So that is the Belvedere. It really is a time capsule from the 1930s.
So our next hotel is called the SS Sudan. It stands for the steamship Sudan. Can you explain? What is that?
Yeah, so this is a boat.
It's a boat like the other hotel, but this boat is actually on water.
Yeah, this yeah, the other one was built to look like a boat. This one is a bona fide boat. This is like Messy Nessie calls it, the Nile's last steamship. So back in the 1800s and early 1900s, people were sailing up and down the Nile as part of Egypt's kind of tourism. And they used to do it on this old school Egyptian boat, like classical Egyptian boat, but it could take up to 3 months to sail up the Nile.
That's insane.
In one of those, yeah.
3 months.
So when steamers came along, they were able to make the trip in like 20 days. And they were much bigger, they had a lot better accommodations. So in 1911, Thomas Cook commissioned a fleet of these new luxurious fast steamboats that could make the journey. And one of these was the SS Sudan. And it was said of Cook's commercial escort travel services, quote, by the turn of the century, there were two empires on the Nile, Britain's military occupation and Cook's Egyptian travel. So the SS Sudan at the time could hold 80 guests and had private bathrooms with hot and cold running water.
That's really impressive.
Which is really impressive for the early 1900s. I mean, it was a big deal for solid on land hotels to have both hot and cold running water in their bathrooms at this time. So for a boat to have it, just amazing.
The golden age of the Nile, or Nile cruising, lasted from 1922 to 1935. And for me, that's like the epitome of British Agatha Christie, as you mentioned, like in their white little linen outfits.
Egyptian archaeology.
With a magnifying glass. I don't know why.
Yes.
Who's searching for things.
Howard Carter, I believe, was the archaeologist that found King Tut's tomb. And so one of the reasons so many, especially British people, were coming to Egypt at this time was because he kind of like made it exciting again to go to Egypt because there was all of this booming archaeology, well, quote unquote archaeology, more like treasure hunting.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It was like, oh, a free for all. We can just go and steal out. Like people, I remember reading about this in the 1920s. People would come to Egypt and literally go into the tombs and was like, this is a cute little brooch. I'm gonna take it, and I'm just like, how life was wild.
Yeah.
Imagine doing that today.
Oh my God.
I know this has been here for a few thousand years, but even in 1920s, that's bold. You're just going in there, taking treasures from 1,000 years ago, and no one's stopping you. During World War II and post-war, instability in the Middle East crippled Egypt's tourism industry, which is obvious. It probably crippled everyone's tourism industry. But the SS Sudan was docked for war during World War II and then languished for the following 50 years after.
Yeah, it was basically just abandoned somewhere.
It was probably just sitting on the Nile.
Yeah.
just chilling.
Just watching the years go by.
In 1999, a German tour boat company failed to relaunch it. So they tried, they saw the beauty, and it didn't work. But then in 2004, she made a cameo in the second movie version of Agatha Christie's Death on the Nile. And I'm guessing that like got people's attention, and they were like, "Ooh, Agatha Christie." Then in 2006, a French company completely restored her, keeping the layout but adding modern engineering and services. She's now the last steamboat on the Nile. So she was there, she died, came back to life, and now she's the only one. Recently, she again served as the vessel Karnak in 2022's newest adaptation of Death on the Nile, which I want to see. I never saw the old one, and I didn't see the new one, but now I'm going to see it.
Yes. Yeah, so twice now she's gotten to but serve the part of the ship Karnak, the steamer.
So, but this is really interesting, the point where, okay, they tried to relaunch her in 1999. It didn't work. I guess the German tour group they didn't think about like marketing. 2004 comes, someone puts her in a movie, and that's the boom. That was like
I guess that was the catalyst.
I'm going to say that works really well. Like, imagine if there's a cafe in New York called Central Park. That place would never be out of business.
It's true.
This is like the power of movies and TV. That's impressive. You brought back a 50-year-old steamboat.
Yeah. And so, speaking of Agatha Christie, she actually stayed on this steamboat. She sailed on this steamboat. It helped inspire her novel for Death on the Nile.
Oh, you think she was writing it on the steamboat?
Oh, that would be cool.
She probably was.
She at least notes, because I know she kept notebooks of all of her ideas with her. So she was probably jotting stuff down at the very least.
Oh my God. Imagine being on the steamboat and like bumping into Agatha Christie.
Oh my God.
That'd be so cool.
That's a movie. Somebody make that movie.
Yeah. Well, this is the second time we mentioned Agatha Christie, right? Because the first time was in the Savoy.
Oh,
where she had her launch for her book.
For her play.
The
Mousetrap.
The Mousetrap. They should have done it for this one. Death on the Nile, and have the hotel a full Nile River with a boat.
Right. I can't remember what year the very first Nile movie came out. I think it was in the 70s.
It was old. Because
so she's already passed away, I think, by the time they made a movie of it. So the ship currently offers 6 suites and 18 cabins, and they're all named after famous people who traveled the Nile in the past on the steamer or are just important to Egyptian history. So, of course, there's one named after Agatha Christie. There is one named after Lady Duff Gordon, who wrote this famous book called Letters from Egypt about her time when she lived in Cairo. And Howard Carter gets a room. He's the one who discovered Tutankhamun's tomb. And there's also one named after King Farouk, who was one of Egypt's kings.
What about Cleopatra?
I guess. She had a very famous barge that sailed up and down the Nile. What about Cleopatra?
Oh, she did?
Yeah. Yeah, she and Mark Antony would sail up and down the Nile partying their asses off.
So why didn't they name a room after her?
Well, maybe they did. I didn't name
it's
everybody.
Too cliche.
Yeah.
Maybe they're like, no.
Yeah.
She had enough, attention. The decor is all in Belle Epoque. Am I saying this right?
Yeah, the Belle Epoque.
The Belle Epoque? What is that?
That's early 1900s.
Oh, I didn't know it had a name.
1800s, yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Per the steamboat's website, if you decide to take this steamship on the Nile, your cruise will set sail from Aswan and end at Luxor, exploring all major sites of ancient Egypt. During these 6 days, you will fall under the spell of the major sites lined along the river and the quiet and magnificent riverbanks. Karnak Temple, Valley of the Kings, Valley of the Queens and Nobles, the Philae Temple. You will take in the most breathtaking panorama of ancient Egypt. The 6-day cruising is also a privileged way That's straight on
Yep.
privileged.
White privilege.
This 6-day cruising is also a privileged way to admire the amazing scenery of the Egyptian countryside, but for security reasons, children under 6 cannot be accepted on board.
Okay, I'm a little suspicious to why children under 6 can't
They
come.
don't need
but-
kids just falling off the
No,
side.
I think it's a great policy to have. More
I
places,
think more places.
more places
Yeah.
need it. But now I'm like, what goes down on this cruise ship? It sounds beautiful.
Yeah,
And it looks beautiful. Everyone has that fantasy of the Agatha Christie on the steamboat, like in their white linen outfits, you know, drinking cocktails and smoking cigarettes and being like, who done it? Edward.
He was murdered in a room with a locked door.
And
Why
then
is everyone ancient that we're doing right now?
because that's how British people sounded. And that's how they sound in the 1920s. And then it's always like, you know, the butler or like someone's like, yeah, that's right, I did it. You're all annoying as fuck.
Ooh, I'm excited about the next one. It looks so cool.
Oh, I know this one.
Yeah.
This is the Giraffe Manor.
Yes.
This is in Africa, right?
Yes.
Okay. I saw a documentary about it. Or it was mentioned in a documentary. I don't think it was about it, but
Yes. This is a 5-star hotel located 20 kilometers outside of Kenya's capital of Nairobi. Do you like how I said 20 kilometers? Like that's a distance that means anything to me.
yeah, you're really catching on to the like non-American. I also like to mention before that when you said at the Luxor in, you know, the Nile, I was thinking of Vegas.
Oh, no.
Okay, but continue.
So, at this manor, a herd of Rothschild giraffes freely roam around the 12-acre property. And if you open your windows, they will stick their heads in for a visit, and you can like feed them and pet them.
Oh my God, that's so fun. And
I
they
love
probably
it.
know. They're like, oh, new guests.
Oh yeah, they're like they are down with the system.
I love giraffes. They're so sweet. They're like a sweet animal.
Yeah.
You don't think of
Yes.
giraffes like, ooh, they're coming after me. It's like, oh, look at those big giant animals that are eating trees.
Exactly. Yeah. The videos on their Instagram are so adorable. This one, even if you never plan to go here, you should follow their Instagram just for like a boost of happiness on your feed.
So it was built in the 1930s by David Duncan of the British.
Sir
Oh,
David
sir.
Duncan.
Oh,
Get
I
it
am
right.
so sorry. He earned that title. By Sir David Duncan of the British Macintosh toffee family, like the candy.
Yeah, like toffee.
Oh, sorry, I got excited. The residence has a giraffe breeding center that was set up in 1979 to boost a then endangered population. It has now expanded into a conservation and educational program for Kenyan school children, and all the profits of the hotel go towards the African Fund for Endangered Wildlife. That's really sweet.
Yeah, that's
All
awesome.
of the profits.
The original manor house was built in 1932 and has 6 rooms, an Art Deco bathroom, and antique furniture. The Garden Manor next door was built in 2011, but it mimics the style of the original manor and also has 6 rooms.
In case giraffes aren't enough, next door is the Baby Orphan Elephant Sanctuary. I'm dying.
Please.
Visitors to the orphanage can watch feeding and bathing time each morning and enjoy watching the calves playing with footballs and chasing each other.
Oh my God.
I want to go here really badly. I want to see the giraffes and then I want to see the elephants. The baby elephants are so cute.
So sweet. Oh, that sounds amazing.
This is like, why don't they do this everywhere? I would go someplace where I would watch the creatures from afar, like the monkeys or whatever.
Yeah.
What do we have that's endangered? Parrots?
Owls?
I was gonna. I know birds. Owls are endangered.
There's some kinds of owls that are, not all.
Oh, we're giving people a great idea. If you want to open a hotel, and you'd call it the Who.
Okay, this is getting cut.
Come on. Why? Why? It's genius. I just give you $1 million idea. What are you talking about?
No, it would be great. Like
an owl hotel
yeah.
called The Who. Their theme song is the Baby O'Reilly song. Oh, that?
Who are you?
No, the band Who.
Yeah.
That's
by
from
the Who.
That is?
It's by the Who, yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's a good one. I was thinking of their other one.
Bubba, like Teenage Wasteland.
Yeah.
I don't know that's the one that you want to encourage people to come look at your endangered animal.
Yeah. Okay. Forget it. Forget what I said.
All right. And finally, the manor is also neighbor to the former residence of Karen Blixen, the Danish author of Out of Africa. The house where she lived between 1917 and 1931 is now a museum set in the midst of a stunning garden.
Oh my God.
So all kinds of stuff here.
Oh, yeah.
Not to mention, that's just what's right there on the, on and next door to the hotel. Imagine if you venture out even a little bit.
Yeah,
more.
there must. I mean, people went there for a reason, so there's probably so much to do.
Yeah,
and
it's so close to Nairobi, which is the capital of Kenya, so you know there's going to be a lot there. Okay, so we just left Kenya, so we are going to go a little further south, all the way to a mining town in Australia's outback in New South Wales.
Oh, yeah, I saw pictures of this.
Yeah, so located in Broken Hill, we're going to the Palace Hotel. The building was erected originally as a coffee palace in 1889, which, if you didn't know, a coffee palace is a place for fine dining and coffee.
It tells itself. You think it smells like coffee still?
Oh.
You know, like old places that used to be something and then they still kind of smell like it? That's a good thing to smell like.
That'd be a good thing, yeah. The architect was Alfred Dunn from Melbourne. He had successfully won a competition to design the hotel. The build was unfortunately unprofitable as a coffee palace and ultimately became a hotel in 1892.
The hotel offers 48 rooms to choose from, including a pub-style room, budget backpacker dormitories, and family rooms. Oh, they're all over the place. They want all kinds of travelers.
All kinds, yeah.
Did you see those pictures?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to describe it.
It's just it's a kitschy palace. Yeah,
it's kitschy.
It's kitschy. Yeah. So in the 1970s, Mario Celato, perhaps? Celato?
Yeah,
it's Italian. An Italian immigrant. I'm going to say Celato. That sounds good.
Because it's gelato.
Because it sounds like gelato, but it's with a C. I never know when the C's are pronounced like S and when they're Ch.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say Celato. An Italian immigrant bought the Palace Hotel and made it into the iconic and kitschy destination it is today. So he started off by painting a copy of Botticelli's Venus on the ceiling, and then he offered £1,000 to anyone who could match his painting in the blank area next to it. An indigenous artist from Port Augusta.
Wait, I'm just like, can we go back to that?
Yeah.
What? First of all, it's a kitschy hotel when they paint something that's famous.
Yeah.
And then now it's even better because he's like, you think you can do better? Why don't you try?
Think, did somebody tell him, hey, what are you doing? And he was like, hey, fine.
I think this is what someone said. Wow, it really does look like that painting. Wait, it's not. It doesn't look exactly like the painting. Well, I'm just saying it's not exactly. Well, you could do better. Well, you prove it. That's how the conversation went. But that's really fun. Did someone end up painting?
Yes. So an indigenous artist from Port Augusta by the name of Gordon Way came into the hotel. Mario asked him to paint a wall in the front bar, which he painted in 8 hours. And then over a period of years, he painted all of the other murals in the hotel, mostly in a landscape theme. But Mario's stipulation was that the scenes had to contain a water feature so that the hotel would feel like an oasis in the outback.
Okay. Classy.
Yeah. I guess there's some hand stenciled wallpaper on some of the walls, and that is Mario's work.
Oh.
So he really put a lot into that because hand stenciling wallpaper does not sound easy.
No, that sounds exhausting.
Yeah. So I had actually never heard of this film that made the hotel kind of a cult icon.
I love it.
I can't believe that I haven't. This seems like something that I would have seen.
Should we
years
watch
ago.
it?
Definitely.
Yeah, okay.
So the hotel was made famous by the cult underground film Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, a 1994 musical that tells the story of two drag queens and a transgender woman trying to get their act off the ground in the remote Australian desert. Several scenes were shot in the hotel, and the room where the characters stayed is named Priscilla after the main character.
I love it. We need to watch this. I
Yeah.
feel like all good movies, no matter what, have a trans or drag queen. in
Yeah.
them. Like so far, Rocky Horror Picture Show, and then Myra Breckenridge.
Oh, yeah. I still
And then-
haven't gotten to watch that
Oh my
one.
God, that one's crazy. And then what's that other one we just watched?
The one with the long...
Apple.
Apple.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
and then what's the classic one? It's got the super long name that I always get wrong. Oh, so it's Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. And then, and of course, the Birdcage. I mean,
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's
the
a
70s through the 90s were spot on
theme.
with,
And the 80s.
yeah,
And
with classic.
yeah.
So when the characters get to the hotel, Hugo Weaving's character famously declares, "Oh, Takarama, who the hell does all the painting around here?" And Terrence Stamp replies, "Someone with no arms or right foot by the look of things."
Woo.
So if Mario wasn't already self-conscious about his
Yeah.
painting.
This is all making sense. Wow. Every September, the hotel and city put on the Broken Heel Drag Festival to celebrate Priscilla, Queen of the Desert's birthday.
I love that the name of the town is Broken Hill and this is Broken Heel because that's so cute.
You guys look up pictures. It's amazing.
It looks so good. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I think there's videos of it on YouTube as well.
Oh, I'm not surprised. Yeah, there has to be. This is
Yeah.
still going on, right?
Yes, every year. Our final strange and surprising hotel is Mosna Castle. So this is a Baroque style castle located in Old Bohemia, otherwise known as Upper Silesia in Poland. The castle has 365 rooms and 99 spires. Its historical records only date back to the 17th century, but 20th century excavations revealed medieval burial crypts and remnants of a possible Templar stronghold. So that's the Knights Templar.
This castle is like what you think a castle would look like.
Yeah.
It's
like-
like huge.
It was
castle.
already a castle, and then they were like, let's make this more castle-y, because the eastern wing, which was built in 1900, is neo-Gothic. And then in 1912, they built the western wing, which is neo-Renaissance. And then they put an orangery on the side. Of course, it has all these turrets. Yeah.
It's a little all over the place.
It's a little all over the place.
Yeah.
It's an ADHD castle. Couldn't decide what it wanted to be.
Oh wow! But it's really beautiful. It's like I want to say there definitely a horror movie has happened or filmed here.
Or like a gothic movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
like something dark. I can't tell. In some of the photos, the roof looks bright purple, but I think those have been color altered a little bit, because in other pictures it looks like maybe it's a little bit more like a reddish plum or kind of plum brown color.
I see that. Yeah, I think that it's more plum brown, and then in some images, like they made it more purple.
Yeah,
So
they were like, saturate.
Yeah.
So this is my favorite part. In addition to offering luxury hotel accommodations, you can also attend a 10-day session in their School of Wizardry.
Okay, I was gonna say it looks like Harry Potter,
Yeah.
Hogwarts a little
Yeah,
bit.
it absolutely does. Whoever thought of this was brilliant. Excellent use of what you've got. Classes and activities that you can take during your time here include alchemy, herbal medicine, cryptography, and cryptanalysis, which is learning to encode and decode messages using ciphers, divination, which is the art of predicting the future and discovering the secrets of the past, studying spell books, the history of magic and magicians, learning the different types of wands, all kinds of stuff. Participants get to live in the castle dormitories, adopt wizard robes, wooden wands, and receive diplomas upon completion of their semester.
Can I go?
I want to go so
or
bad.
are we gonna be the only 30-something?
Oh no, I'm sure it's all.
Yeah.
Not all, but I'm sure it's a lot. We might be the only ones there without kids.
I bet you kids aren't even allowed. No 6-year-olds and under.
If you want to stay here without committing to 10 days of witchcraft and wizardry studies, you can stay in the Mosna Zamek Hotel part of the castle, which offers lots of very huge rooms, including one that kind of to me looked like somewhere that Louis XIV would have stayed. It's called the Golden Apartment, and it's just gold everywhere, gold furniture.
That sounds like he would stay there.
Yeah. Some parts of the castle, though, are still very much lost in the Soviet era. The period of Soviet control caused significant damage to the castle's interiors in comparison to the minor damage that was caused by the actual war of World War II.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. For many years after the war, Mosna did not have a permanent owner. It became a private nursing home in the 1970s and then later a public health institution.
Oh my God.
It says a public health institution for neuroses, which sounds like a really politically correct way of saying insane asylum.
Insane asylum, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a nice way to put it. For neuroses.
Yeah. But so some of the rooms though very much have not been restored from the Soviet era, and it does look like this like weird sad homage to
Oh my God. Yeah, Soviet stuff is so depressing.
Yeah.
And I mean they didn't take care of anything in the Soviet Union. Why would they take care of a random castle? Like
True.
Unless Stalin was visiting or something.
Yeah, so this actually sounds like a really interesting place to visit just because of how many different things you're going to see while you're there. Like there's this wizard school going on, there's these beautiful lavish apartments, but then there's also these rundown Soviet era places. There's a garden and an orange orchard. There's these medieval crypts. So all kinds of stuff that you can explore here.
Yeah, it sounds like you need a couple days to even see everything.
Least, yeah.
I wonder if they use the old Soviet rooms as a place for people to film. Because, they're always doing like films about the Soviet Union.
That would make sense.
And they're like, we'll keep a few so we can rent it out.
Yeah.
That place looks nice.
Yeah.
It looks like a fun. I don't know if I'd want to stay there. I think I'd be a little creeped out. I won't lie.
Castles I definitely want to stay there.
Yeah, castles creep me out.
And I want to wander around at night, and I want to scare myself.
Oh, okay. I would want to wonder, but I wonder if I want to sleep there. I don't think I'd go to sleep. I think I'd just be like perusing around.
I would need to be staying with someone. I wouldn't do it solo.
No. I just feel like there's crypts, and then there's Soviet ghosts, and there's like wizards.
If you got to like explore the dark, creepy part of the castle, and then you like came back to your golden apartment with like a roaring fire and all of that, then I feel like you'd be okay.
I'll stay if I can stay in the golden apartment. That one doesn't seem creepy. It's like tacky, but not creepy. I can deal with that.
Yeah, so if you're choosing one of these 5, where are you staying?
Ooh, it has to be the SS Sudan.
Ditto.
Yeah.
Totally.
Oh,
if I can only choose one,
yeah,
I'm gonna cruise up and down the Nile.
Yeah, the first one is creepy, and there's only like 3 rooms, and then the one in Australia. I mean, it's not. I wouldn't want to stay there, and then the castle is nice, but if there's no competition.
Yeah, I'm gonna sail up the Nile if I can only choose one, and then I'm going to see the giraffes.
Oh, the giraffes! Oh, the Nile and giraffe. That's a hard one.
It's so hard.
But I have to say it would be the Nile.
Yeah.
I have a fantasy about the Agatha Christie world.
But then, you're already in Africa. Might as well. Yeah.
Why do we have one?
Yeah, like you crossed the ocean to get there.
Yeah.
We get to go to...
Okay. The Nile and the giraffes and then the castle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the order.
Yeah.
I think
Top 3.
We'll take any. So
For
if
sure.
you're listening and want to sponsor
we'd
a
love
trip,
to come see any of them. Especially like in September, I'd go to that festival in Australia. That drag festival looks awesome.
Oh, it's in September.
Yeah, it's in September.
But isn't that like Australia's winter?
It's yes. It's going to be heading into their spring. Their winter will be ending, I think.
I'll stick to the Nile.
Thanks for listening to Hotel History. You can follow us on most social media platforms, Patreon, and Substack by searching for Hotel History or Hotel History Podcast. If you like what you hear, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify so we can reach more listeners.